Star Wars under Disney has been fun. I would love to say that Star Wars has never been more divisive than ever, but, well, that's not technically true. The prequels kind of shat all over everybody there for a decade or so. However, when Disney bought Star Wars, everyone was like, yay, we're getting an episode 7, a sequel trilogy, spin-offs? What? And then the Clone Wars was canceled, so that was a nice nut punch right at the beginning. And then after that, The Force Awakens came out, and it was a movie that people mostly liked. Then Rogue One came out, people really liked that one too. And then The Last Jedi came out, people threw a hissy fit about that one.
He doesn't do jack and shit besides sits on his ass on a f***ing dildo. And dildos right up his ass.
Solo: A Star Wars Story, that one happened, right? And then there was the rise of the Skywalker.
Huh.
To sum up my intro to this video, Star Wars is in a whoopsie right now. So this is my first video on this new channel, JRS. If you guys would like to support the channel, then make sure to like the video, maybe even subscribe if you want to see more videos of me in front of a green screen. Oh hey look, it's Kylo and Rey kissing. I knew this green screen would come in handy. So the sequel trilogy has been very divisive. There's a lot of people that love it, there's a lot of people that hate it, there's people like me who are mostly in between. I definitely hate lots of aspects of the sequel trilogy, but overall, I've lost the capacity to care. However, a recent rumor has been started. People think that it's confirmed, people think that it's a rumor. I don't know where it came from, I don't know why people think it's true, but the rumor is that the Star Wars sequel trilogy is being decanonized and essentially rebooted, which is stupid. And here is why. Oh, red arrows, clickbait. I'm a video essay maker now. Alright, so I have 3 main reasons as to why the Star Wars sequel trilogy should not be decanonized, and why it is a horrible miscalculation if they do so. 1. The fans. 2. The story. And 3. The mainstream audience. Yes, those are my 3 things that I'm going to be discussing in this short video. I'm not going to redo the take. Doesn't matter. Sit back in your recliner, eat some popcorn, you know, shove a straw up your nose so you can breathe through the snoring, because this video is gonna bore you. Alright, number 1, the fans. If Disney was to get rid of the Star Wars sequel trilogy and either replace it with a new trilogy or just ignore it, that would fracture the fan base so much more than it already is. The people who like the Star Wars sequel trilogy essentially don't have any good taste. However, that's not the point. The point is, if Disney was to get rid of the Star Wars sequel trilogy, it would not fix things with the fans. It would just rip people apart even more. People would go, oh, but I loved the sequel trilogy. I loved Rey and Finn and the horses and Canto Bight and Rose and the fact that the Emperor just randomly shows up at the beginning of the last movie of a 40-year franchise. I love movies and storytelling. And then there would be the people who are like, yes! The Star Wars sequel trilogy is gone. There's so many more possibilities for better stories. So many more possibilities. And then everything in between. The thing about the Star Wars sequel trilogy is you're going to be getting rid of a lot of good things, and you're also going to be getting rid of a lot of bad things. So it's kind of a catch-22. You're in a lose-lose situation. You ditch the Star Wars sequel trilogy, you're losing Kylo Ren, but you're also losing Rathtars. And to be honest, I can take it. I'm a big boy, I can do it. I can lose the Rathtars. I feel like this point is pretty self-explanatory overall. The fans would nuke each other. I wrote on the Twitstagrams that if you were to get rid of the Star Wars sequel trilogy, you may as well just get rid of the entirety of the franchise outside of the original trilogy and just completely start from scratch. Because if the sequel trilogy needs to be decanonized, then the prequel trilogy needs to be decanonized. Neither of them are good. They're not. Somebody like me, I grew up with the prequel trilogy, but I loved the original trilogy more, and with the sequel trilogy I was really excited for it because it was the continuation of my favorite trilogy. With the sequel trilogy I was looking forward to it, and then it kinda... it's a mess. Star Wars and the real world are one and the same right now. Alright, number 2. If you remake the Star Wars sequel trilogy overall, it'll feel way more disjointed and disconnected than the current Star Wars Sequel Trilogy does. Think about it, if you were to reboot the Star Wars Sequel Trilogy and make a new Episode 7, 8, and 9, you don't have Carrie Fisher as Leia, she passed away. You don't have Mark Hamill, he hates Star Wars. You don't have Harrison Ford, he hates life. So really overall, there would be no point of a Star Wars Sequel Trilogy. You would have to make it 50 years after the original trilogy and have nothing to do with the original trilogy storyline. It would just have to be a whole new universe, essentially. And at that point, they may as well just make an episode 10, 11, 12. Alright, and number 3, it'll confuse the mainstream audience. Now, I know, you're a Star Wars fan, I'm a Star Wars fan. We understand when things are rebooted and changed. I mean, the expanded universe. However, Disney and Lucasfilm, you know, the company that makes Star Wars, they're really big into pleasing the mainstream audience and ignoring the true fans.
They don't really care about us.
I mean, they care about our money, but they don't really care about us in the sense of they don't care about the integrity of Star Wars when it comes to the true fans. They only care about the short term, the people who are mainstream whatever fans, who are like, oh, it's a lightsaber, it's Star Wars. Mainstream audiences be like, oh, there's a chrome-domed soldier. That's Star Wars, right? There's a main character who's young and chipper. That's Star Wars, right? Think about how long it took Disney and Lucasfilm to bring back the Clone Wars after they immediately canceled it. They made 2 other animated shows before they even said, hey, let's finish the one that the fans really enjoyed. Let's make 2 other animated shows before we finish the story that we were given. They don't care about the fans. They don't. It's obvious. I think that's pretty evident. Overall, though, those are the main reasons I feel that the Star Wars Sequel Trilogy will not and should not be decanonized. I don't like the Star Wars Sequel Trilogy, but it should not be removed. It should not be erased from history. I'm gonna draw some parallels here to real life. Getting rid of history doesn't help things. We need to learn from history, not get rid of it and replace it. Again, like I said, make a 10, 11, 12. Make an episode 10, which is an official culmination of the 9 episodes. I wrote a story treatment for an episode 10. I even emailed it to Lucasfilm because I felt like it. Yeah, I'm pretentious. Hey, maybe after I make this video and it blows up with 5 billion views because it's my first video on a channel, because that happens sometimes, apparently. Maybe Lucasfilm will take my pitch and will make an episode 10 for the fans. By a fan. Yeah, that's what I want you to think, though. Once I get the job, I'm gonna f*** off, earn $5 million, and say, I don't care about the story, I just want money. Just like every other hack in Hollywood. Yeah, I'm never getting a job in Hollywood talking about them like this, but at the same time, I don't think I'm ever gonna work there anyways, so. You could also relate getting rid of the Star Wars Sequel Trilogy to when they rebooted Star Trek in 2009. It was a good idea in the moment, but in the long run, look at where Star Trek is a decade later. You could probably adjust that for Star Wars. And you could probably assume what'll happen to Star Wars. Except the thing with Star Wars fans is they're more chaotic than the Star Trek fans. Because the Star Trek fans are 90 years old, or they don't exist. Just stop making Star Trek. Make something different. It's got Star in the title. The mainstream audiences wouldn't even know the difference. Star Trek, Star Wars, I thought that was the same thing. Got laser guns and spaceships. It's the same as Starship Troopers and Stargate, nerd. What are you, a nerd? You actually care about stories? Just watch a film with colors and words and like it, even though the story sucks and doesn't care. Tell us how you really feel. Overall, though, the Star Wars Sequel Trilogy is crap, but it's crap that we have to deal with. So let's move on from it. If Disney makes good Star Wars films from now on, we can just ignore the bad ones. Rogue One's pretty good, Solo's kind of bland, but it's still watchable. So overall, there is good things about Disney's Star Wars. Except for the sequel trilogy. The Force Awakens is okay. Alright, so this has been my first video essay on this channel. If you enjoyed, then like the video, and maybe even subscribe for more videos like this. I do plan on actually writing them out and actually planning them out more, depending on the subject, of course. Artemis Fowl, anyone?